Star Wars Unlimited Leader Spotlight. In today's video, we're going to be going over a leader. We're going to be talking about a lot of different cards that I think work well with that leader. Just to explain the rules a little bit further, let's say this. Not all these cards are going to be perfect with these characters. They're not going to be the best cards in the set, and there might not even be the best cards to play with these different leaders overall. They're just personal preferences, and if you have any better or even personal suggestions you want to give, please leave them in the comment section below. In an attempt to keep these videos short, we're not going to be talking about every card that works with these leaders, just some of the couple ones that I saw and really caught my eye. Might be some other ones that you again prefer. Leave them in the comment section below. And without further ado, let's get into today's leader. Essentially maybe the most popular character to come out of Star Wars Rebels, maybe the most prominent character, if not popular, and that's going to be Hera Syndulla. She has a big part in the story of Star Wars even after the show ends within universe, as becoming basically the highest ranking member of the team, and goes on to actually be a big member within the Rebel Alliance. Hera Syndulla in this game is a Rebel, a Twi'lek, and a Spectre. Only two of those keywords are really going to matter for the sake of today's video. She is going to be a command and heroism leader, and she's going to have the ability that you ignore the aspect penalty for Spectre cards you play. That being said, what is the aspect penalty? It means that every card that has an aspect that you don't have across your leader in your base is going to have a +2 cost to it. So whatever the cost is normally, it's going to have +2 for each symbol that you don't have. That being said, when you're playing Spectre cards in particular, then you actually get the ability to ignore that aspect penalty, which is pretty cool. Now, she has the epic action, as all leaders do, to if you control a certain amount of resources, which is 6 in her case, you can deploy her as a unit. Now, what does her unit side say? Well, she's a 4/6, and she has a new ability along with that ignore aspect penalty ability. This says on attack, you can give an experience token to another unique unit. So throughout this video, we're going to be talking about the different Spectre units in the game. We're going to be talking about a couple different unique units in the game, and we're going to be talking about a couple different Rebel units in the game that I think work pretty well with this character. So, what's my favorite base to play with Hera Syndulla? My personal opinion, I really like playing her on command, double command, that being said. Because she ignores aspect penalties, there's a lot of cards that you can actually play with her in double command, because that's her original symbol. You can get access to double command abilities, and then you can also spread out and take some of those other cards from other aspects that aren't command anyway. So you don't really have to worry too much about the base you're going to be playing, but there are some good reasons to play other than double command, and for a couple of reasons I'm going to show you them soon. Because, something to note, there are no Spectre cards specifically in command. So maybe there are better bases to play, but I really do like her on double command in particular. So getting right out of the gate with command, we have Mon Mothma. Now she's going to be a Rebel, a unit, and unique, which means you can actually use her with her ability there. She's going to be a unique unit, so you can use her with Hera Syndulla's unit side. And she's a 1/3, and when you play, you can search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Rebel card, reveal it, and draw it. Now, if you don't know, almost all the Spectres are Rebels. Or actually, I believe all the Spectres are Rebels. That being said, this card allows you to filter out those Spectres you have in your deck and play them, or rather, and draw them into your hand, so you actually can find a great card for Hera Syndulla, right? Then we also have Agent Callus, a character from the show, another unique unit. He has ambush, so when you play him from your hand, when you play him in general, he can attack the turn he hits the field, because he interplays ready, right? And so he has 4/4 as a stat line, he costs 5, and he has another ability, though, that really helps out, or rather, really kind of synergizes with Hera. When another unique unit is defeated, you may draw a card, and use this ability only once this round, right? Each round, rather. So when you lose Mon Mothma because she's not that big of a body, or any other unique unit you may be playing, you actually get to draw a card. An extra bit of card draw is never not welcome. Right, so then what other card can we play from command? Obviously, a double command event you can play is the 3-cost attack pattern Delta. You can give a friendly unit +3/+3 this phase, then give another friendly unit +2/+2 this phase, and then you can also give a third friendly unit +1/+1 this phase. And it really just allows you to make some big attacks in one turn, and essentially survive even, right? So then what else can you play with on double command, or rather in the command symbol? So for a 1 cost, you can play Rebel Assault. It's going to be a Rebel card, so you can actually search it out with Mon Mothma, and when you attack with a Rebel unit, it gets +1/+0 for this attack, and then attack with another Rebel unit, or rather, you attack with a Rebel unit, it gets +1/+0, and then you attack with another Rebel unit, which also gets +1/+0. So it's a small stat, but for small cost, and overall, when you play a lot of Rebel units, it's going to add up, and it's going to maybe win you the game. Also, finally, on command, not finally, but on command as well, you have the command card, the innate event for the card. It's of course going to be 4 cost, double command aspects. You choose 2 in any order. You can give 2 experience tokens to a unit. That can be a Spectre unit. Friendly unit can deal damage equal to its power to a non-unique enemy. That could be a Spectre unit that does that. Put this event into play as a resource. That could be just really help out in general. I mean, money, right? And then finally, return a unit from your discard pile to your hand. That can allow you to fish out a Spectre unit that you still want to play or that has died in the game and you want to bring back, right? Maybe Kanan. So then, of course, you have Recruit, which is going to be another event card. It's really good, just like a generic command event. It's going to allow you to search 5 cards, top 5 cards of your deck, reveal it, and draw it. I mean, just search is always great. It's only 1 cost, and it's going to allow you to search out the specific cards you may want, and which are going to be Spectre units, and get them into your hand so you can use their amazing abilities. So then, say you don't want to play her on double command, that's completely fine. You also can play her on Vigilance. Hera Syndulla has a lot of also synergy with Vigilance, in my opinion, because of its shield and healing aspect, which allow you to keep those Spectre units on the field for that much longer, right? So that being said, you can of course play the security complex. It's going to give a shield. You can use this to actually give a shield to a non-leader unit. Completely fine. I do actually think it's a pretty good option to shield up your units, especially your Spectre units. But if you decide to go with the generic one, that's fine as well. So, what good Vigilance units are there? Obviously, first off, we have Kanan Jarrus. He's going to be a 4-cost 4/5, and on attack, you can discard a card from the defending player's deck for each friendly Spectre unit, and heal 1 damage from your base for each different aspect amongst the discarded cards, right? And then, of course, you can play the Ghost, another Spectre unit. 6 cost, though. It's going to be a 5/5. It's going to be shielded, so it comes into play with a shield on it. And when you play or attack with it, you can give a shield to another Spectre unit control. More Spectre synergy. And you'll see all the Spectre cards are really synergistic with each other, right? By just helping out other Spectres. And then, of course, for the final card from Vigilance, I'm just going to show up the Moment of Peace, right? Moment of Peace, you can give a shield to a unit, right? So it's going to have you shield up your Spectre units or any other units that you may have in the field that you want to use multiple times this turn. So say you want to play Hera on Aggression, completely fine. You can play Tarkentown. Obviously, it's just going to allow you to deal 3 damage to a non-leader unit. But if you want the extra health, you can go for one of the generic bases instead, right? So, obviously, red Aggression, Sabine Wren is going to be one of our Spectre units for this aspect. 2 cost, definitely cheap. 2/3 is going to be the stat line. And while there's at least 3 aspects amongst other friendly units, this unit cannot be attacked. And so if you have if you're playing Aggression, or rather, you can be playing really anything, because you can play a bunch of different aspects with Spectres, which is why it's synergistic, right? So then you can play a bunch of different Spectres onto the field, and now Sabrine's a little protected. And when she attacks, you may deal 1 damage to the defender's base. Those are a little bit, you may deal 1 damage to the defender or to a base, so you're probably your opponent's base, right? So a little bit of aggression there, and a little bit of aggro, a little bit of burn for you. And then you can also play Red 3. Now, this isn't a Spectre unit, but it is unique, and it is a Rebel, which is going to be really important for this deck as I talk about future cards. It has a really good ability for Hera Syndulla in particular. So it's going to be a 3-cost unit, 2/3. It's going to have Raid 1, which is not exactly the reason why we're playing it, but it's also welcome. And each other friendly unit each other friendly heroism unit will get Raid 1. And that means all the Spectre units, which all of them have heroism, by the way, will get Raid 1. And it's a Rebel unit, and it's unique, so it works really well with Hera. And it doesn't say red, it says unique. Rather, it says heroism, which means all your Spectre units is going to get that buff there. Okay, so for some events, for some more units, I completely forgot that there was another a unit card I was talking about for the red, right? So we have Zebarelius, right? He's going to be a 5-cost 5/5. When this unit completes an attack, if the defender was defeated, you may deal 4 damage to a ground unit. So a little bit of burn, and really not that synergistic with Spectre in particular, but definitely a Spectre card and very good at that. Okay, so for the event, finally, we're going to talk about Mission Briefing. It's going to be a simple 3-cost event. It's a plan, and you can choose a player, and then they get to draw 2 cards, right? So it's just Pot of Greed, though you do have to pay a cost. But, I mean, this card has been good in almost every game. The idea of drawing 2 cards, free or not, is going to be phenomenal. Looking for those Spectre cards, and it's really not that expensive. That being said, it is a 3-cost card, and 3 costs can go into a distant unit in particular. any really unit would be sometimes better than 2 random cards in your hand. But if you don't have any good units and you really are looking, or you're really looking for something that can knock out your opponent, something that can win you the game, this card does have its benefits. That being said, when you really think about it, it's not as busted as Pot of Greed. Pot of Greed is free. If this was free, or even 1 cost, it would definitely go up into being one of the best cards in the game, right? Okay, so say you want to play her on Cunning, the final aspect symbol. You can give a non-leader unit -4, -1 this phase with the epic action on Jeddah City. Not exactly going into the particular game plan of Hera, but of course you can do that if you want to give up 5 extra life on your base. But of course you can always just go for the generic option, which I'm completely fine with, especially when playing Hera. I don't think you really need that epic action too much. Though of course it's going to help throughout the game because it's just generically fine. Right, so our first Spectre unit is going to be Chopper. He's going to cost 1. He's going to be a 1/3, and while you control another Spectre unit, this one in Chopper gets Raid 1, which basically means when he attacks, he gets +1 power. And on attack, you can discard a card from the defending player's deck, and if it's an event, exhaust a resource that player controls. Just generically good. Then you can also play Ezra Bridger, the main character of the Rebels TV show. He's going to be a 3-cost unit, 3/4. He's going to then say, when this unit completes an attack, look at the top card of your deck, and you may play it. Discard it, or leave it on the bottom of your deck. Or leave it at the top of your deck. So, essentially, you can play it, which means you do have to pay the cost. It's not free, by the way. Anytime it says play in Star Wars Unlimited, it usually means pay the cost, unless it specifies it's free. You can discard it, which means if you just don't like the card, or you could leave it at the top of your deck. This is probably a very synergistic card with Spectres, because you're always looking for those Spectres to get play and get on the field, and obviously Ezra is going to help you find them and use them. Another unique Rebel card and heroism is going to be Leia Organa. She's from the starter deck. She's going to be a 2-cost, 2 power, 2 defense, 2 HP rather. And when you play her, you can either ready a resource or exhaust a unit. More resources is always good. Exhausting an enemy unit that may be threatening you or threatening one of your other units, also good, right? And then finally, we are going to take a look at some heroism cards in general. We have R2-D2, Unique Rebel. He's a 1-cost, 1/4, and when you play him or attack with him, you can look at the top of your deck. You may put it on the bottom of your deck, or you can leave it on the top of your deck, which means you're just filter out cards looking for those Spectre units, as we talked about a lot of the other cards throughout this video. And then finally, we have General Dodonna, right? He's going to be a 4-cost unit. He's going to be a Rebel. He's going to have 4/4, and other friendly Rebel units get +1/+1, and almost all the cards I talked about in this video were Rebels. And a lot of the cards you've been playing with Hera, because all the Spectres are Rebels. And a lot of the heroism, he's also a heroism card, which works with the other ship I talked about earlier. So it's just synergistic with the rest of the deck and rest of the characters you may be playing, or the units you may be playing within the deck. Beautiful thing about this video, it's really easy to make because we're just looking for all the Spectres. But beautiful thing about Hera is that your options with her are really wide ranging. In Star Wars Unlimited, you always have a lot of different options, with the fact that you can basically put together your favorite combination with the whole base mechanic. But with this character in particular, this leader, you actually have the ability to use a bunch of different aspects and really take full advantage of what they may have to offer for you. So when you're playing Hera Syndulla, look out for those Rebels, look out for those Spectres, look out for those heroism cards, and really just build a deck that that just is like beefy and really synergistic with each other. I mean, maybe it won't be the most powerful deck in the world, but it's definitely, I think, a very straightforward game plan. But that's me all for today's video. Make sure you guys come back tomorrow for the next Leader Spotlight, one video until the game releases, in which you guys can actually explore each of these characters on your own with the unlimited possibilities of this game. Hope to see you guys out there playing the game. Well, that's going to be all for now, but if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead and watch some of our other videos that we've made on this channel. Also, give this video a like if you thoroughly enjoyed it. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our future content. And I hope to see you guys back at the Roost.